Steven, we are back. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode at 2 a.m. in Sweden, aka We Got Next. I'm one of your hosts of the show, Hayes, aka El Shifty, with the one, the only, the special guest, the honor of the show, because his team is still moving it, Steven at Steven_Springs. Steven, what's up, man? How you been? How's life going? I
It's
got
been a
something you
while,
might
right?
hate me for, but how you doing?
You said what?
I said I have something for you later that you might hate me for.
All
But how
right.
you doing?
Yeah, it's been a while, right?
It's a couple weeks,
Yeah, we didn't talk before Christmas and not New Year's just
Nope.
because of the way the calendar fell.
Yep.
Been busy. Work is crazy. I started a new role
Oh,
at
wow.
my job. Still in the sales side of things, but I kind of took over the sales development for North America. So I have a
Wow.
lot on my plate, and naturally, like we use Salesforce, right? As does,
Yeah.
every sales company basically. Um, and a lot of like their we just had this whole organization restructure at the beginning of the year. And
hmm
naturally, like none of the CRM tools, nothing that we need is like functional.
Yeah.
Um, so like none of us can do our job.
hmm
And um
Naturally.
yeah. So, on top of the work that I have, which is, went from a 3 to a 10, like nothing works.
hmm
So you ask them and they're like, "Oh, we're working on it. We got to go to this team, or like we got to like you have the third party that they're using. They have to go check them out or whatever." And they say, "Oh, it should be fixed. Let us know." And then it's
hmm
not fixed, and you let them know, and like nothing comes of it. So, um, yeah, I mean that's it. The kids have been home for fucking months. It feels like.
Are they
Ready for
off
them.
tomorrow?
No, they have a half day, but there's a
Really?
good. I mean,
Okay.
there's always a chance they're going to reassess in the morning, and then we'll see. But all that's on the back burner. My focus is solely on Thursday night with Penn
That's a
State.
big one.
Obviously, I'm well prepared for it. Just put a
hmm
new Fanatics order in today, or no, last night. So I should get all that by the time the national title game comes around, and I'm off to Atlanta. I have full confidence in the homies.
Oh, you're gonna
Unfortunately,
go if they make it.
yeah, dude, I would. I wouldn't miss that. Yeah, there's no chance I'm missing that. Tickets are expensive. I
Yeah.
got a couple avenues to go down. As we all know, it's not
Yeah.
what you know till you know, and I know the right people. So, shout out to the homies.
Shout out.
So yeah, my focus is Thursday night. We got Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl semifinals. Um, I'll save the rest of that for my what you got. But Quick Slants is out. I sent it to you last night. You can go check
Yep.
it out on my Twitter feed or Instagram. It is out there. Give it a listen. Did a good breakdown of the games. We got like very historic matchups between the semifinal between Penn State and Notre Dame. The other one, Texas Ohio State. The Penn State Notre Dame one is like way more historic and like the grand, like you know history of college football. Penn State, Notre Dame had a lot of battles in the 80s and into the 90s. Two of the top programs of all time. All four of these teams are four of the winningest programs of all time, and like laundry list of All Americans, Heisman winners, national titles, all that kind of good stuff. So I'm pumped. I was trying to swing it and go to Miami for the Orange Bowl, but I just couldn't do it. So funny story though. New Year's Eve, we had all of our friends over. We
hmm
let the host all that. We had all of our friends over, and Penn State played on New Year's Eve. And I told my wife, I was like, look, I'm not watching the game with any of these people. Just so you know, like I'll go in the
Yeah.
closet with the iPad, you know. But once 7:20 hits, I'm locked in. Game was at 7:30.
hmm
So my neighbor Mike, shout out to
Uh,
the Swanson family. Mike has a big old projector in the basement, nice setup down there, surround sound, all that kind of good stuff. So he's like, "Why don't you just go watch the game solo at my house?" I was like, "Word." So like they're just
damn.
on like the other side of like the wall, in our basement. So I was over there for 3 hours of the night, and all of our friends, all the kids were back at our house, and I didn't come back home until like there's like 2 minutes left in the game when I knew the game was when it was over, so I could get back and then watch the trophy presentation, all that kind of good stuff, but. I told Brooke, I was like, look, dude, if you think we're watching the game together, you are out of your
Not
mind.
happening.
Like, ain't no way. Mason's first lacrosse day is on Thursday. Brooke's like, so you're
That's a
not
good
taking
one.
them? Yeah. So Brooke's like, you're not taking. It's 7 to 8. Games at 7:30. Brooke's like, so you're not taking them? I was like, I don't know what you want me to say to that. And I'm not sure you want me to respond. So no. And I was like, and I asked her, I was like, what do you guys plan on doing for the game? She's like, what do you mean? I was like, who are you watching it with? Like, are you guys gonna watch it upstairs or what? She's like, I thought we were gonna all watch in the basement. I was like, no,
Absolutely
this
not.
isn't a we mission. This is a solo mission. And my trip to Atlanta would be solo, people in my house, but my entire family would be there. Like, for sure. And I'll talk about that with my what you got, but yeah, dude, this is a big week. You know me better than anybody. Like, I could care less about the NBA. Don't give a fuck about the Steelers. We'll talk about that. But like, it's all Penn State football right now. Like, my phone is just blowing up constantly. People, talk group chats, like the boys from college, the boys from like growing up. West Coast, East Coast, North, South. It's buzzing. We got one more win, and we're in the national title game. Which is
Yeah.
something that like I haven't been able to say in a very long time. Like, ever, actually, to be honest with you. I've never been able to say we're 1-1 away from a national title. So yeah, this is the biggest game since our last national title, which was 1986. So my focus is, locked in on Penn State football and Thursday night.
Yep. So I will save this for when we go into the college football. There's a lot of different things to kind of talk about, Stephen. Between the college football playoffs began and is almost over at this point, the NFL playoffs are right here as well, so that's another big thing. But two things I want to talk about just to get these out the way. We can make them like the hot takes, fast breaks, and then we'll go into the college football. The first one is Amazon announced most of their cast that's going to be doing a lot of their pregame shows. It's going to be Dirk Nowitzki, it's going to be Taylor Rooks, and then it's also going to be Blake Griffin. What are your thoughts on that lineup?
I mean, they know ball. Dirk, they've all done. Dirk and Blake have done media before. Taylor
Yeah.
Rooks, whatever, fine. No one's there for that. They're here to people see the Blake and Dirk. They both done media. Blake is pretty funny. Blake Griffin's pretty funny, so he's good. Like, different levels of like they're both like they're different personalities.
Yeah.
They both know ball, but like just express it differently. But they can both like dissect plays and all that kind of good stuff. So I think it's good. It's always funny like when these guys retire, and this goes for every sport, but mainly football and basketball because you hear about it more. All these guys are like, I want to retire, go spend more time with my family, da 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 da. A year later, these dudes are in the studio,
Yeah.
or like they're coaching, or like they're doing something that's like taking them away from their family, year round, basically, or at least during the season again. So it's always funny when those guys are like, I want to spend more time with my family. Then they get home, they're like, nah, fuck that.
Yep. They want to go
No.
right back to it in a different capacity.
Ball is life, right?
Yep. Exactly. So that's my thing. So I put on Twitter earlier today, I'm genuinely excited for the Dirk Nowitzki talk because he knows ball better than everyone, especially because he is from Europe. So he's one of those European players that came over here, dominated the game at a 7 foot tall level. Whereas Blake, all right, I'll be interested to kind of hear what he has to say. He went to Oklahoma, so I'm sure he can speak at least decently. But it's Dirk. That's the one I really want to hear and just see how he analyzed it because he was on the Dallas Mavericks before like Dallas Mavericks were even a thing. So that's the big thing over there. The other part I want to swing over to, because we talked about Amazon, I want to get over to Fox for numerous different things. I'll give a quick breakdown, then I want your thoughts, and I'll give my thoughts that I've had every single day. So there were a lot of strays that happened. This all came about because there was a sexual harassment lawsuit against Charlie Dixon, who's one of the execs over at Fox. And then they also listed Skip Bayless in it for different sexual harassment things. I do have an inside source there, so I'll tell you that afterwards. But then after that, the strays came about because the person that was listed that was being sexually harassed, she was a hairdresser for Joy Taylor. And then in that, to get her point fully across, she made sure to end up saying all the stuff that Joy Taylor did do there to kind of work her way up. Whereas Joy Taylor was saying that she did it all on her own. She didn't end up taking the route other people have taken. When that ends up coming up false, Then it was also listed in there that Colin Cowherd is a good guy. So of course he got the bonus points for that. And then the other part, they want to go talk about Shannon, like Shannon. So those pictures you have with Joy Taylor, are they true now? And all Shannon is saying is, this ain't got nothing to do with me. Like, I'm out of the whole station and everything. So now you start putting all these different pieces together of different clips that you saw. And it's like, damn. So did all that have something to do? And then the final part to bring it all the way back around. So the show yesterday that Joy Taylor was on with Keyshawn Johnson, Paul Pierce, and Michael Irvin. I saw online, they said you could definitely tell the three of them definitely had the HR talk right before they went on the show, because they said, why is Keyshawn Johnson?
Why is Keyshawn Johnson throwing an imaginary pitch? What's he doing, bro? Why is he doing that? Like, they're just like, and Paul Pierce is just sitting down. Michael Irvin's not saying a damn word. He knows better than that.
Yes.
Paul Pierce is out there throwing a pitch, like he's throwing out the opening pitch before the show. These clowns, bro.
They said we are not getting ourselves in any trouble. Joy Taylor came covered up and everything. And then the day before, Emmanuel Acho put out a whole big thing talking about how good Joy Taylor is. He deleted it. And then you saw Emmanuel Acho on his show, and it's like he's not even trying to say anything. So everything is true. They're just not trying to say it's true. But what are your thoughts before I say my stuff?
I mean, it's not surprising in any capacity.
Mm-mm.
I mean, let's just get this out of the way. Yeah. I hate him. I cannot stand the way he sounds. I cannot stand him as a person. Jason Whitlock's not wrong though, bro. Look, I'm not gonna repeat what he said. We all know what he said. I mean, it's not wrong. Okay, you and I, if you go back, if you look at our text thread, there might be a couple pics of George Taylor in there. You know, hey, look, it's not. There's no lie, bro. So, am I surprised by this in any capacity? Not even for a second. I've been waiting. We've all been waiting for this.
Yes,
this girl is out there and she's like saying this and that, and we're all at home like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
like you're lying. And I don't think there's a bigger clown looking dude in sports media than Emmanuel Acho.
Yes,
like the shit he says, the way he says it, like the turtlenecks, like my man's got the biggest football shaped head I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the couch with the heavy blanket, the drink, the socks off. I mean, come on,
bro. It says everything.
If you catch me like that, that shit. Like, all this is true. Like, no one's denying. None of those people have come out and denied anything.
No.
And Cowherd, he's a good dude with horrible takes. Like, good for you, bro. Raise a glass. Skip Bayless. I mean, that's also not surprising. Old head in the media. Seems like it happens every couple of years. But like, damn, bro, I'm not. No one's surprised by this.
Any of it.
It's like, if you are surprised by this, then you have not been paying attention to anything that's happened in the sports media landscape between males and females over the last 20 years that there's been these stories coming out. It happens all the time. Like, there's always a story about someone on like at a network, this shit that we don't even know about that's going on. Like, so no, I'm not surprised by this in any capacity. The jokes were, I mean, bro, Twitter was on. That was a good one. That was a good night. That was a good night.
Yes.
That was a great night of entertainment on Twitter. I took a screenshot of a bunch of those. But yeah, that was, I mean, look, yeah. I mean, shout out to Acho, bro. Shout out to Acho.
You can't be mad at him.
I'm not gonna knock that. I think he's goofy as shit. I think he's goofy looking, but don't hate the player, hate the game.
I personally just didn't know, Steven, how much pull he had at that network. For it to say in the whole writing that she wanted to get close to him to be able to get one on prominent shows. Because mind you, for anyone that doesn't know Joy Taylor's story, she actually was like the moderator for Colin Cowherd. Like, she didn't really have
Jason Taylor's sister, by the way.
Jason Taylor's sister. And that's the other part I wanted to say. It shows you how, respectfully, how little pull Jason Taylor's name actually has. it took Emmanuel Acho and Skip and Colin Coward for her to move up. She should have been able to ride the coattails of that name alone, or even on top of that, Shannon Sharp should have been able to help her get up there. But mind you, the funny part is, if you know anything about Shannon Sharp's taste in women, Joy Taylor's in it. Like if you know anything that he's ever talked about. But the last thing I'll say on this, and then I'll get into my one thing that I'll just rip the Band-Aid off so Steven can hear about it. So in terms of this whole Fox thing, one of my friends lives in LA. So he gives me like all the scoops. If you remember, probably a couple years ago, he used to work for the Clippers. So he was able to tell me about when it was Nicholas Batum, like how much of a dick he can be, like Kawhi Leonard's personality, and like all of them over there. So he worked for Fox and he had the early shift. What happens in the morning? All the hot shows. So he has like videos that he showed me of like Skip Bayless running into the studio right before the show, like with the woman right behind him. And he's like, now I can finally tell my story of all this is true. Because that's really what was happening. They would, but you know how early you have to be to do it. But they're on West Coast time.
Like 4 or 5 a.m., bro.
4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Look, man, when you got money and you got fame, like out there, look, I mean, this isn't new, you know? It's just it's just the next one. Like Carissa Thompson when that came out with Jay Will. Rachel Nichols. We don't even have time to talk about Rachel
the bubble
Nichols.
Exactly.
We don't have any time to talk about that. Just go look it up. It's not like, again, it's not surprising. And like when you hear someone's name, it's like, damn, like, oh, I didn't see that one coming. But most of the time it's like, oh, well, yeah, we all called that. That was bound to happen, no doubt.
So the last thing with this is, and I mean this in the most respectful, sincere way possible, I am not trying to be Club 520, what they did to Angel Reese and stuff like that. But you will notice a lot of said individuals will either do something like this or they'll end up marrying just because they're in that same network. They'll end up marrying either the quarterback or they'll be dating someone of prominence. If you hear they talk about Taylor Rooks, even having relations with John Morant, all this makes sense because of that. You help me, I help you type of thing.
Right. So I want to say this. This is completely separate, but she has been on a roll lately. Speaking of women in sports media, and this is a good thing. This is a good note. Laura Rutledge does ESPN. She does a lot of SEC Network stuff. She's been handling some of the stuff for the playoffs. She'll probably be one of the reporters there down, at the semifinals and the national title game, whatever. Yeah, I just want to give her a shout out real quick. I think I love her, and I just want to give her the respect and the flowers that she's due. So, Laura Rutledge, you have my attention. You have for a while now, but you have it even more so now. So keep on keeping on.
Yeah. So shout out to her. She's married to Josh Rutledge, for anyone that doesn't know. But the big thing now, we'll go into college football. So a lot of things have happened since Steven and I last talked. I bet you secretly a lot of people didn't know this, but I donate to Penn State, and I do this so that I can get certain benefits to different places. If you know anything about LSU or Georgia, I do it for a lot of different ones. So it's a funny story. I was lucky enough that they reached out to give me 2 tickets to the Boise State Penn State game. Mind you, at this point, like Steven and I were like knights crossing, so we didn't really talk that much, but I had them. I paid $200. Some people paid much more for them. So I was like, all right, whatever. I'll end up like selling them. I thought I'd get like out the woo-ha for them. No, they were not. It was a good game to go to, but because partially the other team that was in it, it wasn't for as much. So I sold them for $100 each. Now, the funny part about this story is, the mindset I have. I said, oh, I'm about to bet this shit so I can make all the money back. And I said, if they lose, I'm going to have to deal with Steven. If they win, I get a happy Steven. So what happened? They won. When I tell you, like, I put probably like $500, no, $800 down on this game because I said, all right, you know what? We kind of need to make this money back. So I broke even on the whole thing. Now I tried to do it again to end up even just getting the tickets for this next game. There's a hell of a lot of people that want this game. And it just shows you the Notre Dame Penn State compared to Penn State Boise State when everyone knew the outcome of that Boise State Penn State game. But your thoughts on playoffs, on thoughts on anything coming up?
Yeah. So a lot of it was like, it's an easy trip for, okay, so let's back it up. So Penn State, Boise State had a bye week heading into the Fiesta Bowl. So their fans could jump on the tickets, right away. Penn State fans went from not knowing, they were going to the Big Ten title game against Oregon, which feels like months ago. So Penn State fans didn't think they were going to do that. They got tickets to that. Then you're asking them to do another one, the home playoff game, which a lot of fans went to. It was 106,000 people, which was way more than anyone expected. Fucking shout out to Penn State fans.
Shout out.
Like, incredible. Right before the holidays, all that kind of good stuff. Last minute thing, basically. And then I think like a few days later, or a few, however many days later, the Fiesta Bowl is happening. So you got to do, you're doing back to back, and like, you can't, not everybody can do all of it. There's some people that can, but a lot of Penn State fans, we beat SMU in the first round. We're banking on beating Boise State, which I think a lot of people expected that, banking on beating them, and then banking on this. There's going to be, I don't know about 50-50, but like, there's going to be a shit ton of Penn State fans down in Miami, a shit ton. I know a ton of people that are going, obviously, but there's going to be a lot. Same thing with Notre Dame. Notre Dame travels well, but there's going to be, if I had to guess, and I'm not saying this because I'm a homer, but I would absolutely think that Penn State would outnumber Notre Dame fans like a lot to a little. So there's that. Ticket wise, yes, tickets are obviously expensive. Have you seen tickets for the national title game?
Yeah.
Yes. So that eliminates anything I'm doing the rest of the year. Should I have to pay for ticket? That eliminates any travel that I'm doing for the rest of the year, because which is fine, because it's a once in a lifetime thing. I think we beat them. Notre Dame is a good team, but I think we're better in all phases of the game. Offensively, defensively, special teams, like everything put together. They have a slightly better run game, but we have better running backs. We have a better quarterback. They're just a little more athletic. We have one of the best players in the country on offense in Tyler Warren, our tight end, Mackey Award winner, All-American. We also have one of the best players in the country at any position in Abdul Carter, number 11, unanimous All-American. He's banged up. All signs point to him playing. How close is he going to be 100%? Who knows? But he'll anything short of broken leg or torn ligament, he's going to be out there. And we're peaking at the right time. Like, we are peaking at the right time. We were playing our best ball. Bro, we're one of the 4 teams left in the country.
That's
crazy. Yeah. I can't even I still cannot believe this is happening. And we have a great chance to go to now. We are 1 win away from the national title game. So we got there. The other one, Texas, Ohio State. They've had both those teams have had a ton of success lately. Ohio State obviously has been one of the 3 best teams over the last 15, 20 years. So I think Ohio State can run right through Texas. I just think the way they're playing right now, and I hate it because I don't want to play Ohio State in national title game, because God forbid we lose. Win or lose, if we played Ohio State in the national title game, win or lose, you'd never hear from me again. I'm like DB Cooper. I'm just gone. Just without a trace, bro. I'm out. Texas Ohio State's gonna be a good game though. Quinn Ewers going up against his former team. He just was there a couple of years ago. Steve Sarkisian. They had a lead against pretty big lead against Arizona State, and they blew it. But luckily they won in overtime, double overtime, or triple, whatever it was. But if any secondary in the country is gonna stop Jeremiah Smith or slow him down, because you're not going to stop him, it's Texas. They have All-Americans back there. They have All-American. They have one of the best defenses in the country. It's just the offense is inconsistent. If you get, one Quinn Ewers, yes, Texas can win that game and make it competitive and potentially win. But if you get the other Quinn Ewers, the more inconsistent one, I think Ohio State jumps out early, and it could be like it was in the Rose Bowl. Jeremiah Smith is just too good. You like
Nice.
you're not gonna
Nice.
like he's nice, bro. He would be the number one pick
Yeah.
in the draft this year if he can come out.
Yeah.
There's very few players that like as freshmen could go get drafted right after the season. Adrian Peterson was one of those guys. Jeremiah
Hmm.
Smith is another one. He's like 6'4", 215, like big boy. He can scoot. Um,
I
so
think he's better than Marvin Harrison.
yes, like yes.
Harrison
Marvin
was
Harrison
polished, but
Jr. ran better routes, but
yeah.
like all around wide receiver, Jeremiah Smith is just not much you can do about it. I don't like Will Howard in any capacity. I did not mind him before the season started. Cannot stand him now. I don't like anyone on that team. Ryan Day can fall off a cliff. I don't like Ohio State. I hope they get absolutely dismantled by Texas. Fucking hook them. But I think Ohio State runs right through them. Prediction wise, I'm gonna say Penn State wins 34-20, and I'm gonna say Ohio State wins 38-17. And we got Penn State, Ohio State. Again, if we win the national title and we beat Ohio State, you will never hear from me again. We could go 0-12 next year. Our whole team is going to be depleted. Like, there's so many guys that before this little run we're on right now said that it was likely that they were going to come back. You win a national title, bro, your draft stock, it doesn't matter what position you play, your draft stock just skyrockets.
Look at those Georgia years. Yeah.
Man, dude, unbelievable.
So
But you'll never we could go 0-12 next year. I'm good.
So two things I want to say with that. So Notre Dame, Penn State right now, Penn State is is favored to be like the underdogs. It's minus 122 for Notre Dame, plus 102 for Penn State. Then for Ohio State, Texas, Ohio State is clearly the favorite, minus 240 odds, and then Texas is plus 195. The spread for the Penn State Notre Dame game is just plus 1.5 right now. So if you end up taking what Steven said, you'd be a super rich person. Ohio State, Texas, clearly what Steven was saying. Ohio State is minus 5.5.
5.5. Wow.
5.5. Yeah. The other part to it. So if Penn State did play Ohio State, Penn State is definitely the underdogs. Ohio State right now is minus 360 odds. So that kind of shows it. The other crazy part, then we'll move over to the NFL. If it was Ohio State versus Penn State, then the spread is minus 10.5.
What?
Right, yeah.
Fuck that. That is in a national title game. Wow. I knew they would be favored, but damn, bro.
Ohio if State they played Notre Dame, it would be minus 9.5.
That makes sense for what the spread is for Penn State Notre Dame. Not 10. God damn.
Yeah.
Oof. That's a big number, bro.
It is. A lot definitely will change. Of course, this is pending the games that are coming up this week. So Thursday and Friday are your big games. You'll definitely hear something from us throughout the week, and then also going into next week, whether it might be here or there. The other part, so we were able to talk with Steven about all things college football. Now we can go to my celebration and party and everything. So as everyone knows, and I can start to say this more, season tickets have been my life. So the one game that I've told everybody for the past 2 to 3 weeks, I didn't give a damn about anything that happened in life. I cared about that Lions-Vikings game so much, because if the Lions had home field advantage throughout the playoffs, if it's the Eagles and Lions, I might sacrifice money and go to that game, because I have 4 season tickets, and then they give me 2 more in addition to that. So right now, price, mind you, this is all I'm going to say. I was able to get 2 off of me. So I got 2 of them for $412 together. I was able to flip those for $1,000 a piece right now. That's just how crazy. And the wild part is, so here's the funny part. I was telling one of my friends, for these, I use StubHub. So I get to see who the person is that I'm sending the tickets to. They are a registered nurse, anesthesiologist. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
They got coin.
They've been doing this for 37 years. So
wow. Well then.
So the amount of money
Well then.
this woman has
Whoa.
is insane. So that's just
That's
that one game. We're gonna go through it because for
okay.
anyone that doesn't know, so I have the Houston Texans season tickets, I have the Baltimore Ravens, I have also the Detroit Lions and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm a happy camper right now with the different games. We'll go through them one by one. Who do you have? Chargers, Texans.
Chargers.
That's the same way I was thinking. If you look at the Chargers team, compare, and not because of Ezekiel Elliott, but if you look at the Chargers team and what Coach Harbaugh is doing, you have to go with the Chargers in that one. Texans just aren't really there. They are depleted at the wide receiver
No other,
position
like
as
no
well.
other dude.
Like nobody else. You even got Deontay Johnson, and that's not even your savior right there. The next game, Ravens Steelers.
Come on, bro.
So you should know how
The Steelers are some shit, bro. I'll tell you what. Steelers are even Ben Roethlisberger picked the Ravens. Dog, I'm telling you what, man. I knew the back half of the season was going to be tough. We've talked about this, but damn, the offense just completely stopped working in every facet of the game. I don't think George Pickens is on the team anymore. I don't know what's going on with dude. The defense is playing great, but you're asking the defense to play offense, and that's just not going to work.
So we'll go back. So the Chargers, Texans are the underdogs, and that Chargers are favored minus 154 with the spread being 2.5. The Ravens Steelers game, I'm going with the Steelers for anyone that doesn't know, but the Ravens are super heavy favorites minus 550. The spread is plus minus 9.5. I don't know if that minus 9.5 is how it's going to go. That's a big spread for it to be already, but they're clearly saying the Steelers don't really have what it takes.
Yeah, no, I can see it being. I can see it being more like the game early in the season when it was sloppy and I don't think it was even first team to 20 won that game. I just don't think I don't think it's gonna go that way. I think the Ravens can blow them out. I think the Ravens can win by 20 plus. I have no confidence in the Steelers in any capacity.
Okay. So
I'm
next
picking the
game we
Ravens.
got. Okay. So next game we have is the Bills and Broncos, aka Von Miller revenge game.
Hey man, Broncos can win this game.
They really can.
I mean, fuck around and find out going in, bro. Yeah, fuck around and find out. I'm picking the Bills, but I'm not going to be surprised if the Broncos win this game. I'm picking the Bills, but with not a lot of confidence.
So two things with this. Number one, the Chiefs are probably going back to another Super Bowl, and I say that because anyone that's ever heard me talk, the one thing I just did not want to have happen is the Bills and Ravens play in the second round because they're going to be exhausted by the time they get to the Chiefs. And who plays each other? The Bills and Ravens. If they both win, it's set up for that. Meanwhile, the Chiefs get a little cakewalk playing either the Chargers or the Texans. That's not even fair. And it happens this way like all the time. When you get that one seed, you can have great matchups end up happening. Unlike on the NFC side, it's going to be different. But with this one, I got the Bills in it. The next game we got is the Packers Eagles.
Eagles, man. Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Fucking shout out to Penn State, bro.
Shout out. I know.
Yes, sir.
All around. So I'm going with the Eagles in this one. The only reason why I'm picking the Eagles, the Packers are depleted as well. Christian Watson is done.
Yeah, I saw that.
Not their number one option. I mean, of course, they have like Romeo Doubs and then Dontavius Wicks. Of course, they had Josh Jacobs. Yeah, but you need him. Jordan Love is a little nicked up too. So that's another thing. He's going to play, but it's one of those that he's a little nicked up, which does play a factor. And you're playing in Philly where that defense, the front seven, I don't give a damn about the back half. Like, you can shred them alive. But if you just let that front seven get to you, you're done. If you can hold up that front seven, the Packers can win the game because I have no trust in anybody out there. You can end up seeing Wicks have 120 receiving yards with 2 touchdowns for all I know. Darius Slay, Quinyon Mitchell, and then Cooper DeJean, they can play, yes, but I don't have a lot of trust in that secondary. The next game we end up having is the Commanders and the Bucks.
I'll go Commanders, but not a lot of confidence with that one.
So I got the Commanders as well. If you looked at the Bucks game against the Saints, that's all you need to know. Because when the game is on the line, the Bucks are losing to the Saints with Spencer Rattler, and they don't even have a healthy Chris Olave, no Alvin Kamara, and you're losing to the Saints in a game you need. The only reason why you end up getting it easily was because on the other side, the Falcons end up losing to the Panthers. So it just shows you what that NFC South is in general.
For
None of it
sure.
made sense. Bryce Young is acting like Stephen Curry out there, and it just doesn't really make any sense. But I have the Commanders in that one. I think Jaden Daniels can end up doing it, and then that ends up setting up a very good game because the Commanders Bucks is going to be interesting. But the last game, which is going to determine a lot, and it's almost a prequel to what can be another potential NFC type Super Bowl, Rams Vikings. Because if one of those teams win, they got to play the Lions.
I'll say the Vikings. They're just a better team.
Yeah.
The Rams are playing good though, but I like the Vikings.
So I have the Vikings. Is there a sneaky way that this could be crazy, and then the Rams can end up redoing the whole Detroit LA game again in another year? Yeah, but that Vikings team is nice.
Yep.
Only thing that messed them up is the Lions. 2 of their losses were to the same team.
Yeah, and they're not going to go. I mean, the Vikings, the Lions stopped them on what 3-4 downs, and they were all 4th and goals. They had like 15 plays inside the 5. They couldn't do shit.
Yeah,
like
imagine if those are just field goals.
That's kind of an anomaly. But the Rams have been there, done that. They like Stafford knows what it takes. He's not Matthew Stafford anymore. He's Matt Stafford now, but he can still sling it. McVay, they won a Super Bowl for God's sakes. So, they know what it takes. But the Vikings, I think, are just a better team.
Mm-hmm. So last thing I'm gonna say, and then we'll go into the what you got. I'll do mine first, just so you can have the rest of the time. But an overview of how the top tight end position went, top wide receiver position went, top quarterback position went. So Steven and I were in agreement that we thought it was going to be Travis Kelce. Ended up being Brock Bowers as a number one, which he had an elite rookie season. The second one was Trey McBride, which is someone I wanted people to put on their radar. Those are probably going to be like the top 2 going into next year with, of course, George Kittle there, who was number 3. The surprise out of the top 5 was Jonnu Smith. I don't think anybody coming into the year would have ever thought it was going to be Jonnu Smith. Then you have Tyreek Hill looking like Antonio Brown. Number 5 at that position was Travis Kelce. Swinging on over to the wide receivers, we both thought it was going to be Tyreek Hill. Steven thought his number 2 was going to be Jamar Chase. I thought CeeDee Lamb. Who was number 1, Mr. Triple Crown himself, Jamar Chase. Number 2 was Justin Jefferson. Number 3, no one could have expected it, Brian Thomas Jr., which was huge. Drake London was another surprise that I don't think we saw coming. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown, which we both end up having in our. Steven had him in his top 5. Going over to the quarterback position to finish it out, we did not do running back. And I would have been mad if we did, because I would have said Christian McCaffrey. But the quarterback position,
I think we all know. I would have said Saquon Barkley though.
Exactly. Yeah. Number 1, we both were in agreement that we thought it was Josh Allen. The true number 1, which he had an MVP season if he was in the playoffs, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow threw for 43 touchdowns. Jared Goff had the second most passing yards. Baker Mayfield had the second most touchdowns with 41. And then Baker Mayfield had the third most passing yards. Lamar Jackson, third most touchdowns. Jared Goff was 4th in touchdowns. Sam Darnold was in top 5 in both. That's one I don't think anybody saw coming, especially because most people thought it was going to be J.J. McCarthy, if anything.
Yes. That's good.
So that's the overall thing over there. I'm going to do my what you got, and then I'll let Steven have the rest. But my what you got is actually an only in sports. And only in sports can you be the high school coach and win a state championship, and then you get picked up to play on a football team. There's nowhere else what Teddy Bridgewater just did is going to happen anywhere else.
Funny.
And the Lions
Teddy Two Gloves is back, bro.
Teddy Two Gloves is back. And it just shows you, do not burn bridges wherever you go in life, because random shit like this will happen. Now imagine, just imagine if Teddy Bridgewater and the Lions make it to the Super Bowl. You're going to tell me your head coach just was coaching me, and then you go to the Super Bowl? Only in sport, and he's getting paid to do nothing just because he's a good individual.
Right. I was going to say, he seems like a really good person, though.
That's
So like,
it.
good for him. They do gloves, but
Yeah.
only in sports.
So only in sports. What you got?
Um, yeah, it's just where Penn State football is one win away from playing for a national title game, and kind of like, you know, we obviously live around a lot of Maryland fans. And in my neighborhood, I have a lot of Maryland fans, or just non Penn State fans. But I've had a ton of people over the last like month come up to me and be like, "Yeah, I'm only keeping up with Penn State football because of you." I was like,
Okay.
"Yeah, obviously." But you know me better than most. Like, yeah, like Penn State football is what I do. It's what my entire family lives and dies by. I know it's not life or death, but it really is. If you go to the right place, if you go to the right school, it is. Um, go down south and you'll find that out.
Mm-hmm.
We all know how I react to losses. We haven't had one in a while, but we all know how I react to them. Um, you know, this is fucking awesome. No matter what happens on Thursday night, I obviously want us to win, but no matter what happens, like we're one of the last 4 teams in the playoffs. And that was
Yeah.
the goal. The goal is to make the playoffs. It's 12-team playoff. The goal is to make the playoffs. And that has been the goal for the last 7 or 8 years for Penn State since we got going with things. The goal is to make the playoffs. The goal is to be in the Final Four. We're here. We were one of the 4 teams at the end of the season. We were ranked in the top 4 in the college football playoff. So if there was 4 teams, we would have made it. But we're here. And man, for Penn State fans can say what they want. College football fans can say what they want about James Franklin. Like, we're here, dude. Like, he has gotten us to this point. Like, what he's done with Penn State football from where it was to where it is now is I can't even begin to tell people. You've been up with me. You've seen it. To
It's
see
changed
what
it. Yeah.
our facilities look like, from like when he got there, which was nothing, to see what it is now. It's I can't even, it's crazy. He doesn't get enough credit because he doesn't beat Ohio State. I get it. I know Ohio State's in there right now, but like, so are we. Like, we're 1-1 away,
Mm-hmm.
and this isn't a fluke. We're one of the best teams in the country. And on a somber note, one of my uncles, and this is kind of what I was kind of getting at. My uncle Jeff, as you know Jeff pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
One of his college buddies, Jeff texted us earlier today. One of his college buddies actually just passed away, and it's
Oh
someone that
wow.
I've known for probably 20 years now or so. His
Mm-hmm.
daughter is my age. We went to we went to college together and everything. Just passed away. Don't know what the cause was. They're getting to that age where it happens. It fucking sucks, dude. But it's one of those things
Yeah.
where, like, me, like, Penn State football, it's what we do. My kids are invested into it. My wife is, because of me. It's kind of just how things operate. But like, I've known that guy for like 20 years. I see him like 5-6 times a year. But it's like
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him 5-6 times a year for the last 20 years. Shotsky Mike, like my guy.
Yeah.
Like, I've known Shotsky Mike for half my life. Why? Penn State football. I've met some of the coolest people I've ever known in my life through Penn State football. Jay Hill. I mean, that's my guy.
Yeah.
We ride or die together through all the shit that happened when he was in school. Been through a lot, and it's like you have your teams, and it's like this for those like 12 plus days of the year from August until the season's over with, or 16 games if you're an NFL guy or whatever. It's just like those 3 hours. It's just an escape from the real world, and it like allows you to like be with like those people and like enjoy it and all that kind of good stuff. And I'm super lucky that like Penn State is one of the best teams in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love bringing guys like you along, BJ, obviously, and like the other homies that come up with me and appreciate it. And it's like I'm having the fucking time of my life, dude. Like, this is awesome. Whether we win or lose, this season's been the best season that I've ever been a part of. We didn't win a Big Ten title, we didn't beat Ohio State, but like we are in this position because we are one of the best teams in the country, and to be able to turn the TV on and be like, "Yo, that's my squad," and like everybody
That's a
else
big
supports
thing.
it. That's fucking dope.
Yeah.
I know you probably felt that way when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Like, everybody knows that Christian's the Eagles guy. And like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure your phone was blowing up, and like my phone blows up after every game now, and it's fucking dope. People listen to the podcast. It's awesome. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is the best, but it's like, pour one out for my uncle's buddy's name. His nickname was Toucan. I'm sure you can guess why. Since they aimed at the college, and that's been one of his boys for 50 plus years, dude. You know, and it's like it sucks, and it's like, you know, it's never a good time for someone to die, but like you hate to see it. Like it's just, we're right there. We have a great opportunity again, and I'm, you know, if we win, I'm like, you'll never hear from me again. Like I might never talk to you again. We might never do another episode again because I'm like that high is just never gonna go. So this is fun. Like, you know, yes, I want us to win, but like just the whole thing, like, you know, everyone knows where, like, everyone knew I was gonna be at like my neighbor's house. It was just like everyone knew 7:20 deuces, I'm gone. Kids love it. My wife, I'm sure Brooke secretly does not want Penn State to win, so we don't have to shout them away for the national title game, but like she gets it. And it's fun. And like, again, people like you, BJ, all the people who are not Penn State affiliated by like going to school there or growing up there, whatever. Yeah, you tag along and like we're all part of this, and it's fucking dope. And my school, my team, the place I grew up in, one of the best teams in the country, and we're one to win away from a national title. So I can't ask for anything more. Got one more game, see how it goes, but you know, I think we get it done on Thursday night, and off to Atlanta we go.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
So I'll leave it with Steven.
But I will say this:
time.
if we lose on Thursday night, I'm not coming back next week. If we lose, if you hit me up on Tuesday and say, "Yo, we good tonight, bro," I'm not gonna respond. I'm out. Yeah, dude, this might be the last. This might be the last episode I do. But Twitter's gone, Instagram's gone, all of it's gone, dude. I'm telling you, if we lose on Thursday night, I'm done. I'm moving
until 2026.
Yeah,
we out.
We out.